On this episode of the Open in Indiana podcast, we talk about why video is so important to your business. Don't miss it. Welcome, everyone, to the Open in Indiana podcast, where we feature the people, places, and events that make Indiana a great place to live, work, and visit. Today, our guest is the founder of Promote Productions, Brent Mann. Brent, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on the podcast and everything. Really enjoy it. Love being here and being a part of Indiana and part of the podcast. It's great to be here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today for our interview. So, Brent, let's talk about how do you help your customers with Promote Productions?
Yeah. So, I could lay it down to we're a video production company. And when people hear that, they think of cameras, they think of, lighting, they think of audio and everything. And that is part of it. But I think the biggest thing that we try to do for our clients it's three things. Because the camera's great, the lighting's great, the audio's, is needful. But nowadays, everybody has a camera. Everybody has the availability to be online and everything. But I think that the main thing that we try to do with people is three things. One is to save them time and everything. The third one is to grow their business. Everybody wants to see their business grow in any way, shape, or form. And then the third one is connect to their customers. And that's like the relationship side. That's where you build trust and everything. So that's kind of how we see the video side of it, where the camera is kind of, to be honest with you, it takes second place to the message that we're trying to portray in this and everything.
So, Brent, what is your background?
So that's a good question. So I started doing videos when I was 17 years old. I started making videos for our local church. They were horrible. We burned the DVDs and everything, so nobody can see them or get a hold of them or anything like that. I started producing things for our church, and I wanted things to look good. So I started developing that back in 2005 and 4 when video was very low key and everything, and things were very expensive. And I started doing that. And then I did a video for our church, and somebody, I'm from Bloomington at IU, Indiana University, saw the stuff that I did, loved it, hired me onto IU at, the young age of 18, 19 years old, started producing videos for the UITS department. And so I was there for a couple years, but I got the bug to start my own business. And I've got perfect timing. So I started it around 2008 when the economy crashed and everything. And so I jumped ship, started in 2008. And we struggled for a good 5-6 years because the economy was just trying to get back. And we were just trying to get out there and get our message across. And so we struggled for many, many years trying to grow this video business and everything. And then eventually after, you stick around long enough, you'll make it. If you stick around long enough, you'll make it. Everybody else will give up and everything. So we stuck around. This is like our 10th, 11th year in business. And it wasn't until the last 5 years that we really started seeing progress and really started seeing a flow of things. And so that's kind of how the business grew and kind of the backstory of how I got started with Promote.
And so, Brent, let's talk about the process of building your business. So you mentioned that it wasn't the immediate success that came. There was a lot of time of getting things out there. What are some of the things that you did to help get your business in front of new eyes?
Sure. A lot of times we went to a lot of networking events. I went to the Chamber of Commerce here locally. I was part of BNI for a little while. And then I just started emailing people that I wanted to work for. I would drive down the road, see a big business and say, I want to do stuff for them. And so I would research and try to find phone numbers or emails and try to get a hold of them, bug them to death, and everything, and just try to get in front of them. And so the networking events worked because we got to meet people. If I can meet people in person, you get more of a connection that way, but it does take time. And so we also developed close relationships with other video production companies that were in our industry. And we became good friends with them. And, to be honest with you, unfortunately, some of those business closed down, not because, of any business thing. They just decided I wanted to retire or they wanted to move on to something else. And because we had built that relationship and didn't burn any bridges that way, we got all their clients when they closed down because they could trust us. We're good people to work with. We're not going to take advantage of anybody or anything like that. So, building that relationship through networking, through emailing people constantly, being in front of people, going online, going on Facebook groups, interacting with people. And to be honest with you, sticking around. If this a person told me a long time ago, the worst part for a business owner is to have plan B. Because if plan A doesn't work, then you'll always revert back to plan B. So they always say, always have plan A and make sure that that's your only plan. So you have to make it work. You have to you have to get over your insecurities of meeting people and shaking their hand and being nervous and everything of meeting people. And so it really pushed me out of my comfort zone in that way. And so that's how the business grows. It's not pretty. It's not flashy. There's no marketing scheme behind it or anything like that. We just networked our heads off.
And so, Brent, what is one thing that you wish you knew as a new business owner?
I think one of the big things, and there's a couple, but I think the biggest thing for me is that the thought that you are going to make that it's going to take longer than what you think. I had the concept and I was very young. I'm not old right now, but I was 20, 21 when I started the business. So I was young and inexperienced and thinking, in the next 2 or 3 years, I'm going to be making, $150,000. I'm going to have this beautiful house and everything, and I'm going to just make it all. But after, the 2 and 3 years came and went, and here I was stuck, with a business that wasn't thriving, a business that wasn't doing well. I had to persevere. I had no place to go to. I had no, I didn't want to go back and work for somebody and do all that. I had to push through and stay out of debt like we did. And that's one big thing is it's going to take longer than what you think, because the turtle always wins at the end of the story.
And so, Brent, in that time that it took for your business to really take hold and become what it is today, what kept you motivated day to day to keep pushing forward?
I think there's a couple things. One is that bills never stop. So that was a great motivator. Bills always come in. Bills, they don't stop. I don't understand it. Even through, this COVID crisis, bills still come in. I don't know what's going on. But that's a huge motivator when you got a family and everything to keep going. But I think the second thing for me is that it's not a job to me. This is not something that is something that I have to do. I could close the business today and move on with something else. It's something that I love to do. And so at a very young age, I had a mentor say, you can either wait until you're older and start your business and have the security, or you can start now and do what you love and go through the pain now instead of later. And so I decided to go through the pain now and go and start the business and everything. And so the motivation of the bills, obviously, but also the motivation is this is what I love to do. And I can imagine doing anything else.
And so, Brent, prior to recording today's episode, you mentioned that you're also a youth pastor. Would you like to talk a little bit about that organization and your mission?
Sure. So becoming a youth pastor was a very interesting story. It's not something I was seeking out for. I'm a media guy. I'm a video guy. I'm that guy that's behind the scenes putting things together and everything. And that's what I do at the church. We have, videos that we do here at the church and everything. I'm all volunteer. I don't get paid here and all that. So that's who I thought I was, if that makes sense. And then over time, just felt very impressed to do it. And so I pushed it off for many years. And then we had our former youth pastor, him and his family left to do other things and everything. And so felt the tug again. And so I took our young people up to do that. And soon as I was up there, I just felt this just heavy burden to lead our youth. And so came back and saying all to say, I'll make a long story short, became the youth pastor, didn't know what I was doing, had to learn. The funny thing is I had read leadership books since I was been in college. I read leadership books and everything, but never really implemented them. And when I became a youth pastor, all the stuff that I learned, all the stuff that I learned about how to be with people, because you're dealing with teens and parents and events and all this stuff. And so you have to be a leader and to lead young people in these unprecedented times where the pressure of social media, of pressure of family and parents are so heavy on our youth. And I had to become a counselor overnight, figuring that stuff out, talking to young people at 2:00 in the morning. I say my passion is video and stuff. I would say being a youth pastor and being a business owner, they're really up there close. Maybe youth pastor is a bit ahead of that.
Awesome. And Brent, how would our listeners and viewers get in touch with you if they wanted to learn more?
Sure. Good question. So there's many areas that we are on. We're on all the social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So if you just go to your Facebook page and type in Promote Productions, we'll be on there on any platform that you go to. If you want to visit our website at promoteproductions.com and just look at our stuff, get a hold of us, contact us, or if you want to give us a call, my phone number is 812-929-0386. That goes directly to my phone, and would love to talk with you because, like I said, this business is we're here to help people. We're here to because of a conviction for us is seeing business owners spend so much time on things because life is very short. Life goes so fast. 1 minute you're 10 and the next minute you're 75 and you wonder where your life went. And so we want to help businesses save time where they don't have to be on phone calls. They don't have to miss their kids' games and recitals. They can have video that's 24/7, a salesman for them that can work and do their job, grow their business, save them time and put money in their pocket while they're not missing out on life all at the same time.
Awesome. Well, Brent, thank you so much for being our guest today. And to everyone watching and listening, thank you for catching this episode of the Open in Indiana podcast. Catch our next episode soon. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Open in Indiana podcast. If you enjoyed listening, subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Music, iHeartRadio, or on our website, openindiana.com/OII podcast. Thanks for listening.